What is up, everybody? How you doing? Breaking news. LSU have gained 2 commitments over the last 24 hours, and now another. Receiver Barian Brown, as we forecasted over the last week, if not longer, on LSUODYSSEY.com, right here on our transfer targets piece, among others. Barian Brown commits to LSU. We said expect Brown to commit to LSU if the Tigers pursue the SEC receiver with the gusto required. We just put that in the article back on 5 days ago. And out in front of this story, Barian Brown is now transferred from Kentucky to LSU. And one that we really weren't out in front on, didn't really, didn't see it coming, but it was a bit of a surprise. Bauer Sharp, a tight end, has committed to LSU, and Luke Hosh is now going to go to Ole Miss. So LSU miss out on Luke Hosh, but we bring in a top tight end and a former Oklahoma tight end, Bauer Sharp. And then the big news, Barian Brown joins the Tigers. Barian Brown joins the LSU Tigers. This is a key receiver pickup you absolutely had to have. Going into this next season, you had a litany of positions you needed to fill on roster. You needed at least 2 tight ends. You needed at least 2 receivers. Or sorry. I'll go into that. You needed first 2 tight ends. You needed a center. You needed, at least 1 offensive tackle. Now you need 2. You need guys on the inside, on the interior of the O-line, at least 2 guards. So you're going to need 2 guards, 2 tackles now, with Emory Jones and Will Campbell both going into the draft. Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier gone. You're going to need a center. More on that. LSU are closing in on a center out of Virginia Tech that we have detailed to LSUODYSSEY.COM subscribers, and we will detail that to you now in just one moment. But LSU clearly needed multiple guys at multiple different spots. You needed 2 safeties. You're going to need at least 1 corner, if not 2. You're going to need 2 defensive tackles. You're going to need 2 edge rushers. There's so many holes on this LSU roster that must be filled through the portal. Barian Brown immediately is a plug-and-play pickup. This is a dude who's a plug-and-play pickup, and, he also had 5 return touchdowns as well. So he put up over 1,528 yards, 122 catches, and 11 touchdowns during his 3 years at Kentucky. He's got 2 years of eligibility. He had 88 yards, 5 crucial catches versus top 10 ranked Ole Miss's defense, who had a very good defense this last year. He had 160 yards as a freshman versus Georgia, and that was one of the national championship winning teams from the Georgia Bulldogs. This is a young man who has been excellent in big games. I mean, Kentucky pulled off a huge top 10 upset over Ole Miss, and Barian Brown, 5 catches, 88 yards. Without those big plays, I guarantee Kentucky does not pull off that upset. So this is very much a receiver in the Cortez Hankton mold, and very much a significant transfer pickup for LSU. Barian Brown is a fantastic pickup for the Tigers. You hear Mama? Is that 2 R's or is it? Let me look that up. Just 1 R. Yeah, okay. 1 R. 1 R. Let's fix that. 1 R on Barian Brown. This is big news for the LSU, and it's going to only continue with one commitment after another here. And the next who should be committing from everything we're hearing and seeing is is a center out of Virginia Tech. And we put this article up just a day ago. I think it was almost 40 hours ago now. Braylon Moore. Sage. That's loud. Stop that. Braylon Moore. He's right on the cusp of transferring. This isn't just LSU Odyssey sources who believe that that's the case. On Three's staff, on Three's entire staff have logged the expert predictions for him to go to LSU. So you've got LSU Odyssey and On Three on the same page here with Braylon Moore being on the cusp of transferring to LSU. His visit should be starting Let me look. Sage. Shh. When does his visit start? He's going to be visiting LSU and Michigan State over the next few days here. So he should be dropping into Baton Rouge sometime this weekend, if not Monday. But I'm thinking the vibe of this is going to be a weekend visit at LSU. Wouldn't be stunned if he's already there, and we just don't know about that. Brian Kelly and the Tigers right now have been handling their transfer portal business in a really intriguing way. They do not want any leaking of their targets. They do not want any leaking of these guys. Okay? They don't want anyone knowing who they're going after. They know they're going to have a few bidding wars. They understand that. They don't want it. They don't want to deal with it. So what they're trying to do is just be the first to get in there and get out of get the signature. Get the signature. Get the deal done. And if it doesn't happen, move to the next. Like, LSU have cast a wider net than I was expecting. I knew they would have their targets. I knew they would have some guys in mind. Really, LSU have cast a ridiculously wide net here. Not like they're willing to go after anybody, and anybody can fit in here on this team. That's not the case. They know exactly kind of the profile, the mentality of a player they're looking for, but really, and Jacob Hester said this. Jacob Hester said this on Off the Bench. I want to give him credit because it's literally the exact word I have heard continuously from my own sources. Production, production, production. LSU's staff are looking for players who have produced in the past and can produce now. For LSU, plug-and-play guys who can produce now. Like I just said, we need 2 safeties. We need 2 corners. We need 2 defensive tackles, 2 edge rushers, 2 interior offensive linemen, a center, 2 offensive tackles. We just lost our generational bookend tackles. We just lost the greatest tight end likely in LSU history in Mason Taylor to the draft. You know, and then you lose C.J. Daniels out of nowhere at receiver. You lose Kyron Lacey, who led the SEC in touchdowns this year with 9. You have lost a ton of talent all over the place. You still have the best quarterback in the SEC, likely the best quarterback in the country in Garrett Nussmeier. Now you have to surround him with the pieces to compete on a national championship level, and you've got to do it now. And it's got to happen really right now. This is the time to make it happen. This is the only time to do it. You're not going to find guys who are going to help you win a national championship in the spring portal window. You're just not. It's too late at that point. You're already screwed. You're already behind the 8 ball. And even if there are people available, players available at that spring transfer window, it's not going to be the guys you want. LSU hopefully learned that lesson from last year and are making it really, really abundantly clear that they're about to throw some money around. And we're seeing that. LSU pull in Barian Brown from Kentucky. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He is a Tiger. And this follows just on the heels of Bauer Sharp from Oklahoma joining the Tigers. What are your guys' thoughts on these first 2 transfer pickups, and likely to be a third with Braylon Moore, as we forecasted as well on LSU Odyssey? So what you're looking at is LSU immediately going to bring in competition at center, which I don't know why in any way, shape, or form Brian Kelly, Brad Davis did not bring in someone to push DJ Chester last year. The kid was a redshirt freshman. Yes, he played 19 brilliant snaps on the road against Mizzou. He showed up well when LSU absolutely needed him to, right? But here's the thing. You needed to know what this kid had in the tank. And you needed to know that without losing games to find that out. That's kind of what happened in the wrong way this year. Was LSU lost some games because of center, because of offensive line depth. You know, when you go into Alabama, you go into a game against Alabama, who were really in the mood to kick LSU's ass. Played their by far best game of the season. This Alabama team that were really a terrible team. Really one of the worst Alabama teams we've seen in a long time. And you lose Garrett Dellinger and you immediately go to a redshirt freshman. You have at center only a redshirt freshman. You don't even have a backup center option that's a natural in the position. You just don't. That to me is ridiculous. And LSU, you're going to see a massive amount of people coming, of players, well, really people players, Tigers. You're going to see a massive amount of new Tigers, influx of new players. I was told by one coaching source, get ready to learn some new names, get ready to learn some new numbers, because the complexion of this team, outside of Garrett Nussmeier, outside of Whit Weeks, it's really going to be different. Really, I mean, like, you've got Whit Weeks on the defensive side as the focal point there. You've got Garrett Nussmeier on the offensive side as the focal point there. Really, Caden Durham, you were able to fend off Oregon, trying to Phil Knight, trying to poach Caden Durham. You were able to fend that off. And it's funny that the timing of those NIL deals for Caden suddenly come in right after Oregon try and poach him. But that story was so inaccurate. Man, it's a crazy day right now. We just had a very close shave as a family today. Very close shave. It's kind of freaked us all out here. Very scary stuff. My mom had a car accident that was really, really scary. Just completely totaled her car. Just completely destroyed the car. Going about 60 miles an hour when she got hit. Photo scared the crap out of me. It's just it's just a crazy day. Let's see if we've got any comments from y'all. I'm looking at the Twitter thing this time. Not seeing any comments, or maybe I'm not looking in the right area. Oh, here we go. Lon, what do you think of Berrien Brown's ability to replace CJ Daniels? CJ Daniels didn't catch a touchdown this last year. So I think, yeah, he had some big catches. He made some big plays, but CJ Daniels was almost a non-factor this last year. Like, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be bad, but, like, it's not just because he's gone. We did not utilize CJ Daniels the way he should have been utilized. we just threw the ball to the outside, only a couple yard routes, dink and dunk stuff where he's just smashed, tackled really quickly. It really was terrible the way we used CJ Daniels. Nothing inside. He did catch the one touchdown that was taken down for a flag, so he was semi close, and there was one that was destined for the end zone that was intercepted. But outside of that, CJ Daniels with a very poor this lone season at LSU. 0 touchdowns, used terribly in our offense. Not anywhere close to what he could do. And it wasn't really on him. It was all due to injuries and the bad offensive structure. And, wanting to feed Kyron Lacy more than a guy like CJ Daniels. He was not a priority for LSU's offense this last year. Let's be honest here. 0 touchdowns, that's a joke. 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. Just incredible. So Barian Brown, I mean, he's going to come in here. He's got Chris Hilton Jr. to contend with. He's got Aaron Anderson to contend with. I think he fits in perfectly with those guys. And I think without Lacy taking up so many targets that don't always equal big plays, I think you're going to see more targets going around to different guys. And it's not, but at the same time, it's not going to be so 3 targets here, 4 targets here, 5 targets, and no one gets a chance to have a rhythm. No one gets a chance to sustain anything. I think you're going to see Nussmeier lock in on 3, 4 targets and just go ham. You're going to have Anderson, Hilton, Tradez Green, and Barian Brown, and you're going to see those guys getting fed the ball quite often, I feel. We've trimmed the fat at receiver, but at the same time, we absolutely need another receiver as well. This isn't enough. LSU have to go get another receiver. I think Tavon Francis is going to play a lot as a freshman. I think he's that type of kid. I'm also hearing we're going to lose Kylan Billio to the transfer portal. So, LSU don't think that, we're good at receiver. LSU need everywhere. LSU need bodies everywhere. Like, can you even name a position where LSU you feel like solid on outside of quarterback? Which is a great thing to have, a great problem to have, that you're solid at quarterback, but at the same time, after Garrett Nussmeier, if Garrett Nussmeier goes down, where are you at? Do you need someone out of the portal? Is it going to be Chris Hilton? Is it going to be Colin Hurley who's going to be the future of the team? Like, are you going to actually give Colin Hurley a chance to start for LSU? You can actually give Colin Hurley an opportunity to be the LSU starting quarterback in the future. Are you trying to groom him for those moments? Is he a project for LSU, or is he just insurance? You need to figure that type of stuff out right now. For me, Colin Hurley, I think, should be the future. Like, Nussmeier has already taken him under his wing. I think Colin Hurley should be that quarterback of the future for the Tigers. That's just my opinion. He's that good. Yes, I knew I was forgetting a name. Kyle Parker. Yes. Kyle Parker, who had a UCL injury, abductor injury, something like that, shoulder related, this last season, and missed the entire season after catching a brilliant 40-yard touchdown earlier in the year, starting against USC. Kyle Parker is going to be a fantastic piece of the offense. I love what I see from Kyle Parker. We just haven't seen enough. And that's not really his fault. But yes, breaking news, LSU get Barian Brown out of the portal. Another top target for Garrett Nussmeier to be throwing to. This is a pickup forecasted on LSU Odyssey for more than a week at this point. And On3 was another site that were backing that as well, and were thinking that this was going to go LSU's way from the get-go. So credit to On3.com as well for their reporting on this. As we always credit people, reporters who were ahead of us. We credited On3. We don't know if they were ahead of us on the Barian Brown story or not, but we saw it and felt like it was necessary to also credit them because it's likely they're speaking to the same source pool as we are. Sometimes that type of stuff happens. Hey, Sergi. It's been a very weird last week. Very weird last week. A lot of things going on behind the scenes at LSUODYSSEY.com. A lot of things that could be very, very big changes on the horizon. In a good way. In a good way. You want a drink, buddy? Sage. Water? Anybody have any more questions before we sign off here? We've kind of given you guys a good update on what's going to be around the bend as far as Tigers who might be leaving, transfer portal targets who are going to be coming in. Jakeem Jackson, corner out of Florida, recruited, signed at Florida by Corey Raymond. That's another target that is just right 1 foot in the door already. So you're gonna get a brilliant corner with Jakeem Jackson coming in. You're gonna have a top center, at least an elite recruited, elite ranked center in Braylon Moore coming in. You just got Bauer Sharp at tight end, Barian Brown at receiver. You like the start here. You like the start that LSU are doing right now as far as the portal business. You just got to see more of it. LSU are going to need to sign 25 players in the next 2 weeks, in my opinion, to have a competitive national championship potential team. LSU are going to be signing 25 players in the next few weeks if they want to have a national championship competing team. And I think Austin Thomas, they're looking at this more in a Moneyball way, where they're going to compare the dollars and cents they are spending on each one of these targets to the statistical production, the availability, the amount of starts, the amount of snaps from some of these players. And from that kind of statistical equation, go from there and kind of make their priorities. This guy is someone we have to get. We're going to spend no matter what to get him. We're going to spend more than we were expecting to get him because he fits with all the stuff. You and I know how analytically based Brian Kelly's stuff his staff, his regiment, everything that he does for LSU is very statistically based. This is no different. They're going to make sure that every dollar they spend on a player matches up with on-field production. I mean, it simply, I'm not telling you anything that's wildly different here. We have to get on-field production. We have to get veteran presences as well as like young superstars. We have to get that mix. And we have to absolutely nail this, or LSU are going to be in a world of hurt for not just this year, but potentially multiple years if you get this wrong. That's the problem you're looking at here. If you do not get the right transfers, if these guys do not pound out like a J.K. Johnson, when you brought in J.K. Johnson, when Robert Steeples brought in J.K. Johnson from Ohio State, you thought, man, LSU just got a throwaway from Ohio State. We just stole a great player. And he I don't even think he played more than like 5 snaps for LSU. Got caught, had a touchdown caught on him. Like, LSU has had some transfers that absolutely did not work out in the Kelly area. But then we've also had Jaden Daniels winning a Heisman Trophy. We had Jarek Bernard Converse playing safety and corner at a very high level in 2022. You had Mekhi Garner playing really, really good cornerback play in 2022. Even though he didn't have a single interception, he was one of the best corners in the SEC in 2022. They know how to do this. Miles Frazier, huge transfer pickup for Brian Kelly. Huge transfer pickup for Brian Kelly when he first arrived. There is numerous examples where Brian Kelly, his staff have made it work in the portal, through the portal, via the portal. There's also a large swath of misses through the portal in the Kelly era. It's been, for the most part, I would say it's a win what Kelly and his staff have done in the portal, but that's because it simply had to be. C.J. Daniels, you got him out of the portal from Liberty on the back of 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, and he didn't even catch a single touchdown for you last year. He was hurt all year. Like, massive, massive, massive bust. Kyron Lacey, another 2022 transfer. He caught 16 touchdowns in 2 years for you? Had a lot of drops too, though. Took away a lot of big-time targets from other guys who, Kyron Lacey quite limited athletically. And so it's like the future for LSU has to be more explosion on offense. The players that they need to be getting out of the portal right now all need to be explosive playmakers with the football in their hands. And on top of that, the play calling for next season has to be all about getting guys in space and exposing their playmaking and taking full advantage of the talents you have on roster. LSU did not do that last year. Can you say hi? Can you wave hi?
Hi.
Can you say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Oh my God, you're getting so big.
Okay.
Is that little Sagey right there, huh?
Go.
Is that little Sagey?
Hee.
Is that little Sage?
Hee.
You smell stinky.
Hee.
You have poo-poos?
Poo.
Hey Sagey, what does this mean? Oh my god, he's so funny. Hey Sagey, what does this mean? What does this say, Sage? Sage, what does this say?
Say.
LSU, what does this say?
Oh. So.
What does this say?
Oh. So.
What does that say?
Oh.
Usually he just says data when he sees LSU. He just goes, it says data.
Da.
Oh. Mama's having a nap, huh? I love you, Sagey. I'm lucky. I'm a lucky man. Sage, don't. You're gonna freeze the computer. All right, let's say bye-bye to everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We'll be doing a show later. We'll be writing a crazy article later. Hey, Sage, whoa. No more touching the laptop, please. Jesus, boy. Oh, you wild boy. I can't even end the stream because of this kid. Press this button, Sage. Sage, please. I don't want you touching this. I can't even do it.